Princess Lythis adjusted her posture, keeping her expression neutral as the airlock doors hissed open. The human base smelled of sweat, machine oil, and something unsettlingly raw. Her kind valued restraint, elegance, and order. Humans, from what she had studied, were reckless, chaotic, and prone to unnecessary touching. The towering figure waiting for her confirmed her worst fears. Sergeant Jack Carter leaned against the doorway, shirt slung over his shoulder, sweat glistening across his obscenely defined upper body. His physique was ridiculous, every muscle seemed designed for violence or some other strenuous physical activity. She clenched her jaw, forcing herself to focus on his face, but that only made things worse. His eyes were sharp, amused, and entirely too aware of her discomfort. "Princess," Jack drawled, smirking. "Didn't expect someone so delicate." "I am not delicate," she snapped, immediately regretting the defensive tone. Jack's smirk widened as he extended his hand. She eyed it with suspicion. Humans use their hands for everything. Eating. Fighting. Mating. Hesitantly, she reached out. His grip was firm, radiating heat. Her pulse stuttered. His thumb brushed over her knuckles. "Relax, princess. I don't bite. Not unless asked." Her fingers twitched in his grasp. Was this some primitive dominance ritual? A silent challenge? Either way, she refused to lose. Jack released her with an easy chuckle. "You're here to study us Deathworlders, right? Guess that makes me your test subject." Lythis exhaled through her nose. "Yes. I will be analyzing human physiology, adaptability, and survival instincts." Jack stretched, muscles flexing, making a completely unnecessary show of his impressive physicality. "Well, you're in luck, princess. I excel at all three." Her throat felt tight. She blamed the dry air. "Show me." His grin turned downright dangerous. She regretted those words almost immediately. Humans had no concept of self-preservation. The survival training exercise he spoke of involved leaping off cliffs into rushing water, eating what he called spicy food that felt like molten death, and casually wrestling with other soldiers as if bodily harm was a pastime. She watched in stunned horror as Jack laughed while being punched. He just shook it off and grinned like a deranged predator. She scribbled furiously on her datapad. Human pain tolerance is abnormal. Potentially pathological. Jack, clearly enjoying her reactions, handed her a small glass filled with a dark, bubbling liquid. "Try this." She narrowed her eyes. "What is it?" "Carbonated caffeine. Should wake you up." She took a cautious sip. The drink attacked her tongue, bubbles fizzling aggressively. Then came the sudden rush, her mind sharpened, her body felt different. Jack watched with that insufferable smirk. "Strong, huh?" She inhaled sharply. "Your world is intense." He leaned closer, voice low and teasing. "Oh, princess. You haven't seen anything yet." Her pulse spiked. This mission might be far more dangerous than anticipated. Jack leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, watching Lythis with open amusement. "So, you want to study me, huh? Be honest, princess, you just wanted an excuse to get your hands on me." Lythis ignored the strange warmth creeping up her neck. "I am here for scientific purposes." He tapped his chest. "Then go ahead. Study away." Her fingers hovered above her datapad. She had been assigned to examine human muscle density and endurance levels firsthand, but she had not anticipated doing so under his smug, unbothered gaze. She inhaled sharply and placed her hands on his arm. His skin was hot, muscles firm beneath her fingertips. Far denser than expected. A test squeeze yielded zero give. His body was built for combat and absurd levels of stamina. Jack chuckled, the sound deep and far too pleased. "Careful, princess. Keep feeling me up like that, and I might get the wrong idea." She yanked her hands back, scandalized. "I was not." He flexed, making his biceps swell under his skin. Want me to flex again? You know, for science. Her fingers twitched. He was mocking her, yet her body reacted against her will, pulse erratic, heat creeping lower, stomach tightening in a way that felt unfamiliar. This was not normal. She needed control over the situation. You claim humans possess superior endurance. Prove it. His grin turned wolfish. Oh, princess. You're setting yourself up for trouble. Minutes later, she regretted everything. Jack downed 4 glasses of a high-alcohol human beverage without so much as a grimace. Lythis, with her supposedly advanced metabolism, barely managed one before heat flooded her limbs. Her skin tingled. The world tilted. Jack watched, clearly entertained. Not bad, princess. Didn't peg you as a lightweight. She scowled, the slight delay in her reaction betraying her. I am perfectly capable of handling human. She swayed. Jack caught her before she fell, his hands gripping her waist. Silence. Her body locked up. The heat she had been dismissing spiked at his touch, every nerve overreacting. His grip was steady, solid, his fingers just barely pressing into her. His voice was too close, too low. Damn. Your species really doesn't do well with physical contact, huh? Her throat felt tight. This isn't unforeseen. He lifted her easily, hands firm, casually handling her like she weighed nothing. Her entire system short-circuited. Jack smirked, still holding her. Hate to break it to you, princess, but you're kinda bad at this whole resisting humans thing. Her body betrayed her completely. Something deep within her biology reacted, a primal, undeniable response to his touch, strength, and absurd resilience. It was then she realized. Humans weren't just dangerous. They were designed to overwhelm. Lythis sat rigidly, hands clenched, willing her body to behave. This was absurd. A simple brush of contact, and her entire system malfunctioned. Her species prided themselves on emotional control, yet here she was, warm, unfocused, and disturbingly aware of the human sitting far too close. Jack leaned back, stretching lazily. Every shift of his powerful frame made her skin prickle. So, what's next on your little science experiment? You want to check my heartbeat? Measure my stamina? His grin was downright predatory. I can give you a real hands-on demonstration. Her fingers tightened around her datapad. You are deliberately making this difficult. Jack shrugged, completely unbothered. I like watching you squirm, princess. That was the problem. She was squirming, her body reacting unpredictably every time he so much as looked at her too long. She took a slow breath, recentering herself. I need to understand why my physiology is responding this way. Easy. Jack grinned. You're into me. Her entire body locked up, that is not. Pretty sure it is. He leaned in, voice dropping lower. You've been staring at me like you're trying to solve a puzzle. The problem is, princess, you're the one falling apart. Her stomach tightened, he wasn't wrong. Every moment spent near him chipped away at her self-control, her proud discipline unraveling under the sheer weight of his presence. She had to test something. Lythis pressed a hand against his bare chest, fingers resting over his steadily beating heart. She expected resistance, tension, instead, she found heat strength, a pulse that matched her own accelerating rhythm. Jack's smirk faltered for the briefest moment. Careful, princess. His voice dipped into something rougher, darker. You might start liking this. She already did. Her body felt light, tingling warmth spreading far too low. The realization hit her like a physical blow. Her species had dormant biological responses, ones meant to adapt to the most powerful mates available. Her system was reacting to Jack. He was triggering something in her evolution, something primal, something irreversible. She snatched her hand away, breathing hard. This is a mistake. Jack studied her, something unreadable in his gaze. Then, to her horror, he grinned. Nah, princess. This is just getting interesting. Lythis needed distance. Immediately. Every second near Jack eroded her composure, her body betraying her in ways she refused to acknowledge. The logical solution was simple: step away, reassert control, and stop reacting like some primitive life form. But Jack wasn't making that easy. He moved with deliberate confidence, rolling his shoulders as if completely unaffected by the tension coiling between them. You keep looking at me like I'm a problem, princess, he mused, eyes dark with amusement. But I think you like problems. Her jaw tightened. You are. A challenge? He smirked. A test of your discipline? Her pulse spiked. She hated that he was right. Jack tilted his head, watching her like a predator sensing weakness. Tell me something, princess. His voice was too smooth, too easy. What's scarier, how dangerous humans are? Or how much you're starting to like it? Her breath caught. That was the question, wasn't it? She had prepared for physical threats, survival tests, even combat scenarios. But she hadn't been ready for this constant, undeniable pull toward him. Jack took a slow step closer, the heat of his body dangerously near. Come on, be honest. His voice dropped lower. You like knowing I could overpower you. That I could keep going long after you've given out. That no matter how much control you think you have. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Stop talking. His grin was all sharp edges. Hit a nerve, huh? Her entire system was in overdrive. She was losing. And Jack knew it. His fingers brushed her wrist, asterisk asterisk barely a touch asterisk asterisk, yet it sent shockwaves through her body. Relax, princess, he murmured, the teasing laced with something deeper. You're fighting something you've already lost to. Her breath shuddered. Because he was right. This wasn't a study anymore. It was an awakening.